If you'll notice in front of me, there is a box. This says Airlift Performance on it, and this is their new, to me, I think they're like a year old now, Airlift Performance Coilovers. No bags, no air, just coils. This is a line that they released to kind of get in the game, since they already run the game of air. I have a really good friend that I met a couple weeks ago at Gateway Dirt Nationals, and we linked up, made a connection. I just so happened to say the right things that triggered a part of his brain that said, hey, I work with them, let me send you some coilovers. And I was like, okay, what do I need to do? Shoot some content? I said, cool, I can do that. We're literally here for the same reason, shooting content at a race. But I will not ramble on, and we will do the official unboxing. I have not opened them yet. I'm excited. I've never put coilovers on anything other than stock ones on my 97 Honda Civic. But behind me is the Taco Bell car. I can show you why it's the Taco Bell car, but it is filthy right now. Official unboxing, kind of scared. Never done this. Install guide. Cool. Roll Tide. So it comes with replacement springs for the rear. Cool. Cool. Fair enough. And plates for my spring buckets. Okay, that's different. This is so sick. Did not know they had these, even though it is on the paper right here. But if you know that the 350z has spring buckets in the rear, and they have, I guess what you would call as a rear camber or toe. I don't remember. One of those two. But apparently these come with replacement springs and dampers for the buckets in the rear. So that is sick. They really thought of everything. That's probably not how that's supposed to be. That's okay. Anyways, this will be the rear. I know these are the rear because they have the plate up top and the on the bottom. Very nice, very fancy. What am I going to do with myself? I really don't know. And for the fronts, these are the big boys. These are a lot taller than the rear. And this is going to be a lot of fun. This may be a 2-day type of deal. I'm not very sure yet. But I'll get them all unboxed on the table and ready for the next part of the video. This part of the video is actually going to be sped up pretty quickly, if I'm being honest, because I need to get the whole car up. Anyways, car's up in the air. Gotta remove the wheels. Mine are a 19mm. Not everybody's is, but that's okay. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna need to roll my fenders or not, or change tire size. I'm out of breath because I had to chase my dog around the yard. Anyways, if you can't get your lug nuts off with a Bauer Harbor Freight impact, your lug nuts are too tight. I've been through a shop putting my tires back on, over tightening them to the point where I had to get a breaker bar that was 4 foot long and fight to get them off. Anyways, wheels off. Okay. Wheel is off. Now comes to the fun part, to where I need to gather the tools that I need to do this. Yep. I've done figured out that I'm going to have to get down and dirty with this, if I'm being really honest with you. So apparently there's a 19mm on the bottom, 3 12s up top, 2 14s. So I'm gonna take the camera off and show you those guys. Maybe she'll be nice. Anyways, so if you notice, ooh, focus. There's a 19mm right there. There is a 12mm right there. And if you look right up there, there's a 14mm. And up top, you're going to have to remove this strut bar. And then there are, down in there are 3 12s. And that should be all that you need to take it loose. So I'm going to start off by taking the strut bar out of the top completely, and we will work our way down. Flip that right here. Okay, here we go. We're going to be removing these 8. That didn't happen. There's some clips that I can remove by hand. Not every clip you can remove by hand. Sides off. This is also attached. Barely. There's just a little tab right here. You pull it, comes loose. Lift, lift, out of the way. And from up top, that will expose the 3 12mm that hold your, that will expose the 3 12mm that hold your strut in. So, I'm going to insert pictures that will tell you each of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh man, I lost count. Anyways, here's the goal. I'm gonna break these loose. Break this bottle loose. Get up in there. She is not liking this. Ow. I thought I wasn't playing around. Not playing. Now for the really fun part. Putting this big old socket on that little bitty baby. Isn't this just comical? Ta-da! Hercules, Hercules! Well, that bracket's not very strong. Not at all. Fun fact, I've never done this in my life. Oh, I need a good set of ratchet wrenches, if I'm being honest with you. That would help me out tremendously. I gotta do this all over again on the other side. Alright, well, we've got these loose. Yeah, those are loose. I gotta take my swivel link loose. It is also gonna be 17. No bolt on the backside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this link loose, pop it back, and put the bolt or nut on the end. Oh. I really need to get that up in here with me. So I just took the 3 bolts loose from down in there. Down in there. Alright, so now I'm going to take these upper control arm bolts loose. I also may go ahead and get the bottom bolts removed. And now I'm going to take these upper control arm bolts loose, and all should fall out. I'm able to move that with my finger, so that's good. Hold on there, Big Daddy. She ain't ready to come yet. Come on. Oops. One side's out. I don't think the other side's going to give that easy. I'll take this. The YouTube video I watched made this look a lot easier. So I got a feeling what I'm going to do. Why doesn't it have very much travel? I'm going to need to push down. I really might need to phone a friend. Holy cow. Because I'm going to need to put that sucker back, push down enough to get that out. no phoning a friend today. I still might. Is that a bicentennial? No. I have to remember that I'm 47 foot tall, and it is a lot harder to get me in the frame sometimes. But all this beautiful stuff. I'm going to read the book, figure out how to adjust the front struts, get one on, see how I feel about it. I'm probably going to get it close to stock right now, and I'll fully adjust when I get it on there. And we will go from there. That is the whole plan. Yeah, that's the whole plan. We are in it. Flip that around. Okay. So this says to loosen both lock rings under the coil spring seat at the top, spring lock ring at the bottom, so the spring is loose and can move up and down slightly. So what that's saying is, I figured those would be pretty loose, but they're not. So, aye, Captain. I think that was tightened. Yeah, I need to go this way. Loosen. And says loosen Big Daddy. Which I don't know if they come preset or not, but I also don't want to smash my hand. Oh. I'm gonna tighten that for now. It's coming nuts. Yeah, that's loose. That's loose. It's not loosening. I honestly think it's moving on the inside. I think the whole thing is moving. No. It's just that tap. I really don't know if that was for shipping purposes or what. guess that was for shipping purposes. Holy cow. So, look, and first, loosen both lock rings. Anyway, restart. According to directions, it says loosen both lock rings under the coil spring. This is the top. And the lock ring on the bottom, so that the spring is loose and can move up and down slightly. If you would look right here. Ever so slightly. This one, this one, this one, this one. Ta-da. Okay. Tighten up the spring seat so that the spring is snug, but do not tighten it down past simply holding the spring snug. This will be zero preload. So what you would do is tighten it down to where it is snug. Turn my mirror off. Do-do-do. Snug spring. This one's still loose. Snug the finger. No movement. Tighten up the bottom lock ring so that it is just touching the spring seat ring, but do not tighten the lock. You will be moving the spring seat ring next. Multitasking here. Back it off so that it's not locked. Okay, so tighten up the bottom lock ring so that it's touching the spring seat. Do not. Start tightening the spring seat ring so that you are now preloading or compressing the spring, but do not adjust the lock ring yet. There should now be a slight gap between the spring seat ring and the spring lock spring. Measure the gap between the two rings as you are tightening up the spring seat ring. Once there's 3 to 5 millimeters of gap between the two rings, you have 3 to 5 millimeters of preload on the spring. This is all you will ever need for driving your vehicle. I'm listening to the Airlift people. So 3 to 5 millimeters of gap after you tighten. So that's tightened. Fun, fun, fun. Apparently, never been to the super line. The guy told me, holy cat. So you should be able to fit the wrench between there. Almost. We're almost there. See that? Put it up there. You should, after you've snugged it up and the lock ring stays in place, should be able to fit the wrench. And that'll be roughly 3 to 5 millimeters of preload. And you repeat and do the other side. Do not forget to tighten your lock ring. This is kind of a pain, but don't want to mess up the threads. Should be snug. Rinse and repeat. There. Maybe one more bite. Ooh. I don't know about you, but I do not want these coming loose coming down the highway. So with my thought process, both of these have no load on them right now. So this is your Airlift coilover. And this is my OEM blowed out coilover. So the plan is I measured that one, measured this one. It was 25.5. So I dropped this one to 24.25 because I'm only going to drop it 1.25 inches. Yeah, 24.25. Measured both of them. Set the lock rings. Going to pop this in there. Rinse and repeat and do everything on the other side. Do need to make sure you take these nuts off, or that would probably be fun to get out while it's up in there. If you'll notice, it comes with nuts. Some coilovers do not. So I'm going to go ahead and set these up top. Try to shimmy this in there. And rinse and repeat. Other side. Nuts are off. About to shimmy this baby up in there. To be honest, it should be a lot easier because there is not about 1.5 inches more clearance. So that's good. Okay. Alright, so did you see how easy that was? I'm going to leave it propped on the lower control arm so that I can put the nuts on the top, shimmy everything up like it needs to be, and that'll wham in a circle. I'm so excited. I think the mustache and mullet combo give me 10 out of 10 mechanic skills right now. By the way, in case anybody wondering, this 2007 Nissan 350z only has 130,000 original miles. It is a rebuilt title, was it an accident, don't know when, don't know how, don't know why, but got it from an insurance guy. If you'll notice, there are 3 12mm down in here, and we will be tightening them down. Snug, snug. Nice and snug. Don't want to break nothing. Snug. Everything is nice and tight. We'll move back down to the bottom. Now it's time to go back to my regular scheduled programming. Bolts are on the top, and I'm in it. So now you will rinse and repeat. Do everything backwards. So what you want to do, line this back up. Everything kind of spins like it should. And do not get any lines caught. Everything kind of moves right now. So this, being the lower control arm bolt, I would go ahead I about whack myself in the face. Get it close. I'll say get it close. And flip your upper control on. And I'm gonna be real honest with you. I should have listened earlier. What you want to do is slide your jack in there so that you can do some manipulous. Adjustment. Okay. Get your little pressure on that right there. Hang on. Okay. Now we got that close. Should be able to swivel. Get the upper control arm up. Am I bleeding? No. Okay. Fun. See if we can't get the other shot started so that everything will kind of line up as it should. Oh, we're getting somewhere now. It's tight in there. Okay. One is started. Honestly, don't even know. Okay. So I may have to drop this down a little bit so I can move it a little more. Oop. You may have to give a little persuasion if you're going to get that in there. We'll just get the right angle, I'm not ready. Oh. I know it's not going to give you much, but it'll give you a little bit more clearance if you twist the spring by hand. Seems crazy, but it's working. Pretty much start threading it till you can get a little bit more clearance, because there's not a lot of room to work on this one side. Almost got it where it'll start, or at least go in. I've seen a little bit more clearance. I don't like much at all because I got the other side pretty much started, which is great. Yeah, it's good and started, but this one there's just not much room to work with. All I gotta do is get the head to clear, and I'll be able to, it'll be more flat, and I'll be able to push it in, but it's just not there yet. Whew. Like I said, it didn't need much, but it took a little more persuasion than I wanted. Now, I'll take it back loose. Make sure I don't cross thread it. Oh. An old trick that one of my old bosses taught me was you get it on the head of where it sits in there in the nut, and you twist left. Actually, I can show you. This is a fun trick so that you'll never cross thread again. But, so what you'll do is you'll twist left, and I'll put it close to the mic. Little pop, and it'll thread on there. Just a little, whatever you want to call that. Fun, fun, fun. That's 12. I need 14. Everything's on the ground. Everything kind of scattered right now. To be honest, I don't even know where my 14 is. Maybe up top. Okay. Because to be honest with you, the ratchet should fit with these. Almost. Almost. If that was a 14, that's the 12. I had the 14 on something else. 12. Anyways, long and drawn out process. spot right here. I'm gonna get these snugged down. We'll give it a final snug. Make sure everything's tight. But that's remotely tight. We are going to jack up the lower control arm. It's kind of tough to do one person. I should have brought it around to me. I'll probably do that. Should be pretty close right there. So, bolt left side. Tie. And nut. May bring it a little bit closer while I do these next couple parts. So it is getting mighty dark, mighty quick. But put your sway bar and link in before you put your strut in the bottom of your control arm. If you can't tell, it's dark at the moment. I'm going to put 3 lug nuts in this wheel, go to the other side, take that wheel off, repeat every process I just did here, and get it on the ground by tonight, finish everything up tomorrow, is what I'm hoping for. It is actually really dark now, but I'm ready to drop this on its wheels. So, without further ado, drop this under the center. I'm excited and nervous all at the same time. I'm gonna make sure that those are gonna line up right. Yeah. Ever so slowly. Alright, that's not slow enough. Oh. Oh, it's going. I can honestly barely get the jack out from under it, but that is, we'll do some more playing around with it, but I'm pretty happy with that right there. It's already a good bit lower. On to tomorrow. Alright, so we're back with part 2. The front is a little bit lower. Just a little bit. Not completely. That's why I left the locking ring on the bottom loose, so that I could finish dialing in how low I want my car to be. And then now I'm going to take the rear wheels off and go through the process of removing the rear suspension, and I'm gonna see how much we can drop it. And yeah, me and Pee Wee are gonna do that while she probably puts muddy little paw prints on me. The Pee Wee? No. We're at the rear of the car, about to jack it up. And remember the process of taking all the whoop. Now I'll be jacking up the rear of the car, getting it on stands, removing the old suspension one side at a time, doing some measuring, checking everything, seeing how much I want to lower it, and rolling with it. So we're probably going to speed it up. Do all of that. Got it resting on jacks, stands, and we're going to work from there. So there's that. Okay, so we're going to remove the rear tire, start removing the rear suspension components, and get the ball rolling. This honestly should have been pretty cool. I'm excited. So there's 1 bolt, 3 bolts. I don't think this will be that bad. I'm saying that with no prior experience. I'm gonna go grab my tools and get to work. So ultimately what I'm going to do is let you guys sit right over my right shoulder. I'm going to break all these loose, and we'll see where we go from there. This kind of thing doesn't get much better, but it keeps on trying. That's pretty loose. So now, I'm going to swap back over to the breaker bar. This one should also be a 17, but the OE strut does not have a bolt. Let's see if I can get you guys in there. You can see the OE bolt has, or the OE strut has threads. So I'll show you here shortly, but the rear components that the airlift system comes with has a nut, ultimately to replace the just a bolt, which is great, to be real honest with you. I feel like this impact should be able to pull it. I need to shorten it down. More torque. V-walk, baby. 12's already on my ratchet. Beautiful. I don't think anything's ever went this smooth. I'm honestly need to shut up before something breaks. Everything kind of come down right there. This cooler is a great tool table. What kind of sorcery is this? This should not be that easy. I'm thankful. I'll say that. Now. Should be able to. Ultimately, with a little bit of, oh, I fell off my stool. Back you guys up a little bit down. I feel like it's gonna need some love taps or something. Ultimately. Either that or a pry bar. Katana. I used to have a little pry bar. I didn't know it is. Oh. Oh my goodness. And if you want the cat, he gotta spin it. Yeah. Oh, I know what I got. Big old flathead screwdriver. Yeah. That ought to be fun to get back in place, but need a little bit of foot there. OE spring. Tall boy. Now, rinse and repeat. Time to set some heights. Drop everything like I need to, and rinse and repeat. Ultimately, the goal here is to take these parts, check heights with OE, and compare to where I want to be as far as gap goes, and drop everything down. I'm ready to get this thing low, so just I guess follow along with me as I do that. You'll probably only be able to see waist down, but you'll be able to see the table, what I'm doing, what I'm measuring, and my wet dog. Okay. Ultimately, that is a foot tall spring. So with that being a foot tall, and me wanting to drop the car, that's about right. So ultimately, my guess here is this goes here. That is where you get your adjustment of height, etc. So this is now 10 inches. Ultimately, the number I'm looking for is like 9.5. I don't know if I'll be able to adjust once the car. Anyways. It's kind of big. To the tallest point. 10 inches at the tallest. 10. That one's about 9 3/4. About 9 3/4, I think I need it to be. Now these, I'm looking to drop the rear. We'll do top to top. So as of right now, it's taller. So break this loose. Oh. There's a very small bad spot. Okay. So one thing I'm starting to figure out is there is no good video or diagram or anything on how to set the height of your shock or your spring. But that's what I'm figuring out. So in the process, I'm just thinking I'm probably going to set this close or a little bit shorter than stock height, and we will go from there. I don't know. We're figuring it out. After sitting here and thinking a little bit, with the car at full droop, you wouldn't want this to be in a bind. You wouldn't want it to be at a bind as it reaches full reach. So I guess you would want this to be able to reach the very bottom, and then you'll be able to set your stiffness up here. Gonna go with that, gonna roll with it. I can't sit here and think on it all day. So might as well just get to stepping and do. Put the set screw back in here. And go do it. After doing some inspecting, taking apart the coilover, taking the set screw out and wondering what the heck this was about, pretty sure this may be for the bag setup, not sure yet, but you should be able to replace this piece, which is good if you ever needed to. Granted, took that apart for nothing, but not necessarily for nothing. I was just wondering what my thoughts were and why it was like that. This is honestly a beautiful design. I really like it. Just doing a lot of thinking, trying to figure some stuff out. And after some serious thinking and, you know, how my brain works, I'm going to put everything back together and start doing. But this is really cool, really neat. I enjoy this. Airlift is making a really good product. I'm not going to discount them there. So, without further ado, I'm going to move you guys around. Okay, so here we go. This is pretty close to stock height. Should be able to get this in there with no issues. Going to... What I'm going to do is put this bottom. Ooh. Trying to put this lower control arm or spring bucket bolt back in. Not the smartest idea there, Zach. Trying to get everything lined up pretty close. There we go. We're cooking now. Just got to do a little bit of fine tuning there. Should be pretty close. Slip the nut on there. Get that into place. Whoa. Nothing is really close to tight yet. Alright. Get the top up in there. Put these nuts on. Put this one on. Oh. Hand start. Let it hang. Get my ratchet with my 12mm. Says leave it remotely loose. And so, in theory, should be able to jack this up to where it has no tension on it. Something like that. Should be able to let the car fully sit on the jacks. All right. Can't really tell. Now, jack in place. Start kind of moving all the suspension. Make sure that's in its spring bucket like it needs to be. That's where it's supposed to be at. Alright. I'm going to have to let it down a little bit. And what Airlift does that other companies don't do is send you a nut that threads on to your OE bolt. After watching some videos and learning a couple tips and tricks, because I for one have never done this before, so you're watching someone who's never installed coilovers do this. Now granted, I think that's really all it's got. I'm not going to tighten that all the way down just yet. Everything kind of has some play in it right now. I'm just trying to make sure everything's lined up. That's where that should sit. Okay. Now, what I need to do is get the collar wrenches and run this down to where it has a little bit of preload. I'd like to check my ride height just to see where it's at. With some considerate thinking, I'm going to put this wheel back on, go to the other side, take all the suspension out from there, put the suspension in the same height as everything on this side, let the car down, see where we're at, and adjust accordingly. There's not really any good description on how to. After looking up a bunch of different ways, I'm not very sure. But that's where I'm at now. This is not the rear is not near as hard to change out as the front, so this shouldn't take me probably 10-15 minutes. Ain't that right? Ain't that right? Also, while I'm in the process of adjusting, I'm only putting 3 lug nuts on. Hey! Just trying to eat my lug nut. Run these down, go to the other side, do the same thing. Bing, bang, boom. My dog's not the smartest. Woman, right down the line. Ultimately, this is the one that I'm probably most nervous about. I'm going to do it very slowly because I don't want it to crunch the fender or anything. Definitely got some adjusting to do. Cause holy cow! That sucker's on its nuts. Holy fitment, buddy. Golly, I gotta get that back up. That's too much. Looks cool. Looks cool. But ultimately, that's too much. That's so good. That's so hilarious. I figured that's what was going to happen. Ultimately, I don't know if you just saw, but way too low. Way too low, and it was bottomed out. So we're going to have to play with it a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what happens. Round two. Round two. I raised it up like half an inch. I feel like it's still going to tub out pretty good, but I think it'll fit a lot better. That's still pretty low. Still very low, actually. I'm gonna drop the struts about 2 or 3 rounds on both sides and put a couple more rounds in the springs, see how it feels. I don't know. I need to drop it some though. Okay, so on the other side, took this loose and added about 6 rounds, which is like that much. So I think that will help a lot. After a sudden catastrophe where I should have been videoing, but I had my blocks facing the other way, and when I jacked it up, it was on the jack on the rear, and the front wheels didn't have nothing chocking them, so it just started rolling backwards, and I almost died. But slowly getting the rears like I want them. I got a Sharpie. I'm going to mark the ring, put so many rounds in there, let it back down, see, just make little small adjustments. So I've gotten the rears a lot more dialed in, a lot closer than I want it to be. So now I'm going to drop the front some. I can still go about 1 inch in the front. We're going to drop it down, try to get this a little more even. Try to do some fine tuning. That's all I'm doing. Ultimately, I should not take anything loose other than the bottom locking ring. Take it loose, twist the top one to compress it more. So everything's already set, preload, all that good stuff. So we're going to see what happens when I drop it a little more. I thought my friend was kidding when he said, yeah, putting the suspension on is not going to be that bad, but dialing it in is going to take you hours. I've almost spent 2 full days on this. But I'm excited. Like, this is a blessing. I don't know how else to put it. But I'm definitely going to have to get some taller, like, step downs. I don't know. This is different. I ain't never had to deal with this. This has been such a fun journey. About to drop the front one more time, I think. I'll see how satisfied I am, but we're gonna drop it and see. I like that. I like where that's at. Jack still comes out. I think I'm going to leave that for now. Raise the front, raise the rear just a little bit. That's nice. And I don't want to go too much right now. We're just going to see how this goes. I'm definitely going to have to roll the fenders. I don't know how you do that, so I'm going to learn. Yeah. Alright. So, I just put 3 more rounds in the rear. Trying for it not to be. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I honestly think I could raise the right side a little bit more, but that's tits. That is tits. That looks good. Oh, okay. So, I finally got all of the final adjustments done. I'm about to tighten everything down and get ready for the first test drive, possibly tonight. This is my 2007 Nissan 350z with Airlift Performance Coilovers now. No bags, no air, no hassle. Good quality. I can honestly say I'm impressed. I want to give a huge shout out to them and Dustin LBZ for hooking me up. We met at the Dome. I could not be more grateful. Also, I'm reshooting this part of the video because I shot it outside and the wind was whipping. Couldn't hear a word I said, just straight wind. I'm blessed, highly favored. This car, I've had it for 6 years and it is constantly developed. I'm in love. Looks so good. Also, I'm freezing. So I'm about to go back inside and throw this in the video.